it's springtime.
That makes a lot of sense. Why?
Love of the town.
First time.
Glad to see you made it back from the Caribbean.
I'm not. I'm very glad to get it back. Why is that on her?
Sorts of room for activities.
Don't get used to it. She's on.
I know.
You guys
Hi,
ready?
Shireen.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council. And I want to officially call this meeting to order and recognize Shireen. To catch our greeting to you, are you on?
Looks like she's getting it right now.
Okay. Hopefully she's not in her car attending this meeting. And it's someplace uncomfortable in the library or
Jason, you
hotel
unmuted
room.
that,
It
right?
wasn't muted.
It's, it
Um,
like,
She was going to engage. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
very good.
And I have nothing to change the agenda for.
So moved.
Greg and Mark. Moving seconded to approve the agenda as presented. And we're going to vote on that. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Shireen, can you hear me okay? Give a thumbs up, or I'll assume you can hear me.
I think she can, I just think she can't connect the audio.
She's gonna put it.
Keeps trying.
She's unmuted. She unmuted herself.
Next part of our meeting is communications. If you wish to address the city council on subjects pertaining to today's meeting agenda, please wait for that item to come up. And if you wish to address the city council on an item not on the agenda, now's the time to come forward and address the microphone, give your name and address for the record. Before discussing your item, you've got 5 minutes to discuss that. So, anybody here from the public want to address the council? Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. We've got 3 items. And anything that anybody wants to get pulled off, or are we good with that? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion to approve. Mark? Is there a second?
Second.
Scott. Moved and seconded to approve the 3-item consent agenda. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next section is public hearing for the consideration of an amendment to Chapter 404 bulk regulations of the Mount Vernon zoning code. And I'll officially open the public meeting. If there's anyone here to speak to that item on the agenda, of that amendment. Anything from staff? Anything to add? Any comments?
So the amendment was actually recommended for denial by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So at this time, if you go with Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, you can make a motion to approve the ordinance and then vote against. You can make no motion, and it would die for lack of motion. So you have a couple options. Unless you want to approve, then you can move forward with approval of the ordinance.
Is there a functional difference between, why would we approve it? I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around why we would approve the motion and then.
You can make a motion and then vote against.
Oh,
But
okay,
the
all
ordinance
right.
is actually
So then we're actually going on record as voting
Correct.
against it versus it
Yes.
just not
If nobody makes a motion, it
being
dies
put
for
to
a
a
lack of
vote.
second.
Gotcha, okay. All right. And just for outline here, this is the amendment to change the quote-unquote snout houses from a 10-foot setback on the house to 15-foot.
Correct.
Okay.
It's for one developer in one area. That's true.
So the ordinance change would actually be for all developers if it were approved. We had one developer step forward and ask for the change, but it would affect both locations potentially.
And future, correct?
Correct.
City Planner Lee Bradbury here, do you want to add anything from the meeting, or all pretty self-explanatory, or explained?
I think it's all in the report.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And it was a 5-1 vote, right? From the planning and zoning.
Correct.
There was not a,
No,
We had
there was
one-
one planning and zoning commission member that voted in favor,
the one, okay.
Would
thanks for-
recommend. the other direction.
There was initially one motion to approve, but that went without a second, so the motion
It died
died.
for a second, okay.
And then the second motion was to deny, recommend denial.
And that was a 4-1 vote.
Correct.
Thanks for that clarification, I thought it was 5-0, okay, thank you. Is anyone here to speak to that proposed amendment change? If not, then we will close the public hearing at 6:35 and move on to item F2, which is ordinance 218-2026A, amending chapter 404 bulk regulations of Melbourne zoning code. And looking for a motion to approve first reading and proceed to the second reading, or basically ask what the will of the council is on this issue. Welcome. I know you just walked in, but I just closed the public hearing on...
No, that's fine, I'm not here for any of that.
Oh, okay, that's fine. If you missed the chance,
There we
by
go.
2 seconds, I didn't want to...
Plod right along, please.
Okay. I'm not sure we're plotting here.
I know, right?
Well, something there.
No, we've been over the plot.
Okay, we're on F2. Ordinance 218-2026A. Discussion.
Just let it die.
Yeah, I don't, we've got planning and zoning for a reason, and I don't see any reason to move against their thoughts.
Any other comments?
I agree with Scott there.
I'm not making a motion.
I volunteered with some groups in my time in Alberta. Planning and zoning is not one. I don't want it.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, thank God somebody wants to do that. That's
Yeah,
not, that person isn't me. And I mean that. I mean, it's an important, when we interviewed Chris, I've maybe told this story before. He said one of the things that as you move along in your career within the city, you start to notice zoning. And typically you notice bad zoning, more, as in general is the case with many things. My girls are so sick of me telling them and noting zoning as we drive through other cities and where it's been done well and where it has been done poorly. So I appreciate the Lee Bradburys of the world and the planning and zoning volunteers of the world. It makes a huge difference in how communities develop, so.
Okay. Is that enough
With that, yes.
for the minutes to reflect? No action? Does that take care of it? So that takes care of F2, as well as E1. Now we'll go to, this will open a public hearing to approve the purchase sale agreement of 1040 2nd Avenue Northwest, the public works site. It's required by Iowa Code Section 360.17. And one last comment, Lee, thanks. Please pass this on to your group there, planning and zoning,
I will.
and hopefully you've heard the comments that were mentioned there. Is anybody here to speak to that sale agreement? Do you even have some more information on that?
So I have the purchase / sale contract, and I will send out the resolution to you tonight, but it's a basic resolution just approving the sale subject to the terms and conditions. So basically it says approving the sale of said public works site, and then it will list the purchase / sale contract as the exhibit to that, so the conditions are within the sale contract. But the city has received an offer from Ryan Barner for $250,000, which was the minimum that you set. during the last public hearing. It is in an urban renewal area. The necessary waiting period, public notice has been in the paper, and it actually has, we've done this 3 times. So I think we've covered our bases in that regard, but it is subject to a development agreement that will have to be approved at a future date. And that basically sets a cap of what that would be valued at, I believe, $375,000. And then offers tax abatement so that he's able to kind of stair step into that. We don't receive any taxes on the building now, so I see no issue. We're really basically attempting to just get this off our books, so the additional taxes will be a bonus of any sort moving forward. So staff is recommending acceptance of this resolution and this purchase contract. Like I said, it meets all of the minimum requirements that the city had, and we will be out of that space. The closing date will be April 15th.
Any questions of staff? Heard a recommendation from staff. What is the will? Oh, I should say, still open, public meeting is still open, but is anybody here from the public here to talk to that topic? Otherwise, I will officially close that public hearing and move on to G3, which is Resolution 2/18/2026C, approving the purchase sale agreement of 1040 2nd Avenue Northwest. The old public works site is required by Iowa Code Section 364.7. For the recommendation, what is the will of the board?
So we will find out and approve what they're going to do with that land.
So no, you don't have to, it's already zoned accordingly, so if it's within the zoning strictly, as long as they follow applicable building codes, they'll be fine.
And it's, that being so close to the pool and stuff, we don't have any concern.
We kept a portion of the ground that we needed to in proximity to the pool.
Okay, so if we're satisfied with that.
I would move approval of Resolution 2-18-2026C, approving the purchase sale agreement of the old public works site for $250,000.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Moved and seconded to move forward with the sale of the old public works site for $250,000. If there's no other discussion or further staff comments, I think we are ready for a roll call vote.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Turler?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Engel?
Yes.
And Shereen, I don't think we can hear you. No, you can't.
What should the minutes reflect?
Oh, that she's.
So unfortunately,
Absent.
the minutes will reflect that she was present via Zoom, but unfortunately she can't. So this is her as voting. Oh, she did give a thumbs up.
There we go, okay.
Those witnesses, it's unanimous there. All right, here we go. Thanks for engaging second witness, Terry. That resolution passes that if you got that, Marcia.
I want to see the full gamut of emojis used.
I think we're on to F, ordinances 119/2026B, amending Article 10 on sign regulations in the municipal code of Mount Vernon. I see that staff had no written or verbal communication regarding this ordinance since the second reading, and we are to the third and final reading. Any questions of staff or? Councilman?
I would move approval of ordinance 1-19-2026C, amending Chapter 165 of the zoning regulations for the municipal code.
Scott.
Second.
Mark. Moved and seconded to move forward with 119/2026B, and that's also a roll call vote, and Marcia, it's yours.
Engel?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Turler?
Yes.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Hopefully we got that. I think that covers ordinances. Moving to G1. Resolution 2/18/2026A, setting the salaries for the appointed officers and employees of the city of Mount Vernon fiscal year 26 27.
So as I put in your packet, this represents a 4% raise, which matches the union, final year of the union contract. The only one I would like to point out is Jesse Thurn. I always place her wage in there as the 4% or whatever is matching the other employees. However, understand that CDG board will review that, and while they can't exceed what you list, they can decrease if they would like, but they're working through their budget as well, so just kind of a point I'd like to make.
Thanks for laying out this, all this information, where they're currently, what the rates would come out to, for all those key positions, and that explanation on Jesse.
I'd move approval of resolution 2-18-2026A for the appointed officer salaries.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. Okay. Paul and Craig. Moved and seconded to move forward with the recommended salary schedule in this resolution. If there are no further questions or comments about it, if we are ready to vote.
Rose,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Hanson, Player,
The resolution passes. Next is resolution 218-2026B, approving the final plat of Ellis Rose and James Roy Wolrad, preservation addition within the 2-mile extraterritorial subdivision review.
So you have a new resolution in front of you. The plat itself, parameters of the plat have not changed, just the title. So there was no amendment needed to the agenda. It's still the same plat, but the resolution that you have or will approve tonight will be the final plat of Twin Haven Preserve instead of Elise Rose and James Roy.
So it's a name change for the plat
Correct.
itself, but
Yep.
nothing functional
Nothing
changes.
from the parameters of the plat itself has changed.
This was some part of something that we enacted some years ago about the kind of protecting our borders or letting people know where we're at for our borders. This 2-mile extraterritorial subdivision. So we've got a good relationship with the county, basically. Any questions of staff about it? Now, with further explanation?
As far as the location, Tom and others, is this, bumps up the Irish, is this going to be part of the trail area? Does the trail area go right through this?
No, the trail area would be south.
A little south of that? Thanks.
This is actually on the north side of the railroad tracks. And the trail will be on the south side through that one, yeah.
So I consider the Peacher Tree Farm. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
anymore, but that was,
That's helpful.
there was discussion about this, possibly with another developer 2 or 3 years ago, and I thought it died, and now we're back to it, so that's good. So, moving forward here.
Unless there are other questions or concerns, I would move approval of resolution 2-18-2026B, approving the final plat of Twin Haven Preserve subdivision.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Paul. Moved and seconded to move forward to 218-2026B. If there are no other questions of staff or comments, if you're ready to, roll call.
Turler,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Hanson, Player,
Hope you caught that.
got it.
That resolution passes. Moving on to motion for approval. We've got a claims list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue plotting.
Yeah.
You're going very good. Thank you.
Claims list, motion approved.
I would move to approve the claims list as presented in the packet and by Marcia then earlier this morning.
Thanks, Craig. And is there a second?
Second.
Craig and Mark. Move to approve the claims list as presented. If there are no other comments, ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion consideration of a lawn maintenance agreement for the Mount Vernon Cemetery. Council action is needed.
Council, staff is going to ask you to table this item to a future meeting. I'm not going to indicate yet which one, but I'm just going to ask that you place this on the table. We did actually have another party approach us about the potential. So it wasn't a bid, so there wasn't a date they had to hit or anything like that. And in the interest of budgetary considerations, I think we should wait.
I would move approval to table this item to a future meeting.
Second.
Paul and Scott, moving second to table item J2, so later time. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. J3 is discussion and consideration of the V&K invoice, the Highway 1 reconstruction project.
Invoices in the amount of $9,694.90.
Process continues.
Just pre-work. We're doing that. I would move approval of the VK invoice number 51361-18 Highway 1 reconstruction project of $9,694.90.
Second.
Thank you, Craig and Paul. Moving seconded to move forward with the VK invoice. The question here. And if there are no other comments or questions, ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Continuing with the Rachel Street improvements, V&K 51387-3.
This invoice is in the amount of $13,241.40, and I'm happy to say they're actually on the side of Highway 1 right now. I just signed a DOT permit yesterday.
On the east side?
Yes.
Okay. I missed that.
Brilliant.
Good.
Good weather.
Yeah.
I would move approval of paying invoice 51387-3 for Rachel Street Improvement Project to V&K Engineering.
Paul Mark. Moving and seconded to move forward with this V&K invoice on the Rachel Street improvements. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Item J5 is discussion and consideration of setting a public hearing date for to receive the engineer's report on the preliminary plat for the City of Mount Vernon EMS District. Council action is needed.
Moving this right along, Jake is here if you have any questions. I will say that I'll give kudos to Jake because this is a monster to keep track of.
Sticking with it.
And I've trying to watch 2 counties, multiple communities, keep track of all of the dates has been quite a job.
So to meet the requirements, what date should we set?
It was the
16th.
16th.
Do the second one.
Second.
one of March. Okay, so with that, I would move to set a public hearing date for the EMS district for the March 16th meeting.
Move and seconded to move forward with this public hearing date of March 16th. And is there an election date set yet, or is that down the road? Not making March date, obviously. Okay.
Hopefully soon.
Okay. Got a motion for approval on the floor for the public hearing date of March 16th. If we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
With a thank you to Jay.
And was there any pushback from
Nobody, no real pushback from any of the municipalities. So it's, all things considered, it's been as smooth as it could be, I think, so.
Yeah, I think the translation or interpretation of this particular code section, and there's 2 different code sections, one for cities, one for counties, has been interesting, to say the very least. So I have not seen any emails that have shown a disinterest in moving forward. It is a lot of complication as it relates to hitting dates and
think it's a testament to your guys' excellent service.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
built
mean-
trust.
Yeah.
Next is J6, discussion and consideration of change order number 1.
Did we ever vote on that?
Yes.
Details.
We did vote on
We've been
it.
super efficient tonight.
I think we're in J6. Change order number 1 on kind of a change order type of thing on the Rachel Street improvements project.
Additional water valve.
Additional gate valve.
We did vote on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was just making sure. Now they're over there wondering.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah, it's supposed to play telephone.
We
So,
should not have these on Wednesday nights.
moving right along, staff has requested this change order in the amount of $4,950. It's a long stretch of water main, and in order to ensure that we're not shutting off Quick Start or any other business, we wanted to install a gate valve that we can shut so we can isolate potential incidences in the future. So that's really all this is. I will tell you that in order to keep them moving, that this was approved. So,
Yeah. So we're basically future-proofing the water mains over there.
correct.
With that, unless there are other questions or concerns, I would move approval of change order number 1 for the Rachel Street Improvement Project in the amount of $4,950.
Second.
Thank you, Scott Craig. Moved and seconded to move forward with the Rachel Street improvement, change order number 1. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Moving to J7, discussion and consideration of setting a public hearing date and meeting time for the proposed property tax levy rate for the city of Mount Vernon. Council action is needed, and this is the first of 2 legislated by the last session, if I remember correctly. And the nation is looking for March 2nd and March 16th, or,
No, this would be April 6th.
oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. And that
With
falls
in hopes that you'll have more information coming out of Des Moines.
With the hopes that they don't change it by then. But yes, April 6th, and then I believe the second meeting in April will be the second of the 2. And then we have to have certified by April 30th under House File 718, as long as that doesn't change. Levy rate is proposed to stay the same this year, $13.50.
That is year 2 at that rate, or?
This would be the second year at that rate. This was, last year was the final year of a 3-step increase. So overall, the levy has increased 51 cents over the course of almost 24 years.
$12.99 for a long time.
Much less than inflation.
I would move approval to set a public hearing date of April 6th for the proposed property tax levy rate.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second? Second. Well, Mark, moved and seconded to approve the hearing date of April 6th for the first public hearing date on the proposed property tax levy rate. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. I think we have a motion for approval. Reports. Start with police reports. He's already sent us out information.
And just for everyone's information, I'll have a press release on the incident that happened this afternoon, so work on that as soon as I'm done here.
It was on the Channel 9 News tonight.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I hope it's taken care of. I see that candidate, Officer Mackey, did he receive some recognition at Fort Dodd?
He did, yeah.
How long has he been there?
Just, the month. So he's a class officer, they call it, so, yep.
picked by his peers.
Yeah,
I don't know how many peers are in the class, but
it's a large class this
that's
year,
a
yeah.
pretty impressive
Yeah,
recognition for
it's
this
great.
young man, so thanks for making us look good. Even at the police academy in Des Moines, it's 4 jobs. So
Yeah.
way to go, Officer Mackey. Can I ask you one question of the police department? There's some legislation being discussed, I'm not sure how active it is anymore, but about the Sheriff's Association. Is it the state or is it the sheriff's looking to take over policing in towns under 6,000?
It is a Senate study bill. I don't know that I've looked up to see who's actually pushing this, but it is more or less a state mandated review of police services for communities under 6,000. And the basis of the legislation or the study bill would be if, I believe, this is kind of a cursory review of the bill, if communities under 6,000 cannot prove that they are offering services cheaper than what the sheriff's office of the county potentially could, then they have to take that to a vote of the public. And the voters have to choose to pay the higher cost.
When we talked about this last week, Chris, we posed the question on whether or not we would be considered larger than 6,000 because of the Mount Vernon-Lisbon Police Department.
Yes, and that has not been answered in that Senate bill yet. So,
I think if it went to a vote, it would be,
being a study bill, I think they're kind of putting it out there, but I don't know that it will necessarily turn it into a Senate file.
It's all the other towns.
I think we're fine where we're at. It stays that way, and speaking of public works, Mr. Downs.
I took a picture of it, but I forgot to mention it in my report. And this is, you guys probably gonna laugh at me, but that blind shed corner, not having tin on that has been bugging me for so long. And we finally got it all finished up, so. I took a picture of it, but I forgot to mention it in my report. We had to order some more tin. It just got cold and we never had a chance to get back out there and put it on. It's just been bugging me.
Your staff's probably staying busy.
Yeah, very much so.
Any questions, Eldon, on the public works?
Sounds like the move's going well.
Good.
The invitation is always there if you want to go out and check out those
Absolutely.
facilities. The foam insulation is done. The office area, for the most part, is nearing completion and shelving is up, so welcome.
Lockers got delivered?
Lockers are installed. I will say that our HVAC contractor, his supplier forgot to order the heaters. So instead of this week, it'll be next week.
Look, it's warm out.
So, yeah, it's warm right now.
The office area is already, yeah. The shop is.
Gotta take care of the boss.
I toured it late this afternoon, and it's all looking pretty impressive.
Yeah,
For sure.
we're so excited. It's just, I keep reiterating to the guys that we're making history here. This is kind of an epic move for.
Well, how long were we
Long
at the,
time.
I can't even imagine how long we were at the previous facility. Yeah.
it's probably the largest building structure that we own.
Yeah, I would say the
LBC may be close, but
the most interesting part of when we make a move like this, so when we moved police department out to that facility, you go out there and look at the space that we have for everything, and then you come back here and try to picture what they operated out of City Hall. And then you go down to that public workshop and do something similar. One building out at the new facility is as big, square footage wise, as what we're selling. And you see all of the things that we're finally able to put inside the building, and you're going, I don't know how we operated on such a small parcel of ground for so long. I will say that, I think it's a product of a very forward-thinking city council for the last 10 years, and staff matching that energy and trying to plan for the future. So I'm quite excited about where we are at facility-wise, and potential things for the future.
For the amount of pride you guys have, we've done a large portion of that ourselves. We've had stuff contracted out, but we've done a lot ourselves, so there's a lot of pride there. And we've saved a lot of money by doing so. So that's helped to move things forward as well.
We got a lot of stuff, the old site, to get to the new site.
That'll go fairly quick now.
So, okay.
We
Go with that.
Well, we've got an end date. We'll get better.
Yeah.
Is there any plan, just curious, as we've been selling solar to numerous buildings, city buildings, is there a plan for that one, or?
So not at this time, and the reason for that is, believe it or not, Public Works just does not use enough electricity to warrant the installation of solar at this time. And because we're limited on how much we can generate with solar, or how much Alliant has to credit us, it just doesn't, it's not feasible at the moment. Not to say that moving forward in the future, when we're fully operational out there, that we won't look at it, but I would say there is a third building plan that is the more permanent structure that'll house maintenance, future maintenance operations, things like that. Have an overhead crane, all of the things from a safety perspective. I could see us placing solar on that building and actually having enough there to function for that entire 9-acre development.
Good, thank you. Fire department adding any more buildings out there?
I don't think so.
I
I do know that they've.
I didn't catch the last one until it was framed.
Well, yeah, we were kind of laughing about it. We took a tour out of Public Works, and I'm like, never really asked
Yeah,
about
it's
the
down.
height of that building before, but it is much taller than I thought it was going to be. No, they've already had some trainings out there and taken full advantage of that space as well. And again, it's just a great pairing all the way around. Good location. You'll have our landscaping installed, and hopefully it will be fairly mature by the time development reaches Market Road. So, and they do have a lot of pride in it, because I've been on a number of public works facilities across the state of Iowa, and ours is very well maintained, even without concrete drives at this point. So.
Thank you. Mr. Siders. Is it still solid for the installation of the generator?
March 6th.
Yes.
I'm still waiting for a confirmation from the electric company and Alliant, but that's our date we picked.
Questions?
I have nothing to add. Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Co-library report.
I did not have a chance to speak with Grace, so we do not have one right now. I do know that there's a plethora of bills being introduced at the State House regarding libraries right now, and I did not want to bother her at the moment.
She had her report, though, for February newsletter that she sent to us a couple
Yes,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
So our relationship with Cornell help us in this situation, or hurt?
Well, the latest bill that I've seen actually is removing library boards potentially. So they would take control of the library back from the library board and put it back under city council. And I think the comment has been, you know, placing it under a semi-political wing, and even something that's typically not as divided as a city council from a Republican and Democrat still offers plenty of politics depending on the community that you're in. So there's concern there. I haven't tracked the bills enough to know where they're at in the process. I tend to get a little bit more excited when they make that first leak. Otherwise, there's so many bills that come out.
The League of Cities is not tracking it, but has no opinion about it either. Anything else in the library report? Ambulance annual report. Jacob, as always.
42 volunteers.
Well, so that number can be a little deceiving. That's anybody who has served in 2025. So not an active roster of what was on their 45.
Yeah, like 42 is what I
42, but pretty close. We usually keep our numbers, or strive to keep our numbers between about 32 to 37, 40. Yeah, but it's definitely been an active year, so.
Well-written report.
Thank you.
This quote is, where you live should be telling if you live. I like that. Thank you.
Believe in it.
Yeah, obviously. Historic preservation, window report.
All right, so we will be soon sending our annual report into the state. We're required to report on a variety of things, and part of that is reporting to you. So this is a report on our activities of calendar year 2025. We had a pretty normal design review year. We had 14 design reviews over the year, and 2 of those came in for pre-reviews, which was really great, that we can get kind of common understanding before they come to us with a specific project. We had 2 big projects, and you probably heard more than you would like from me already about the design guidelines. We're just happy with the product, and we were happy with the process, so that was good. We did have one other big project this year. Cornell, the CDG, and us sponsored an audio historical tour. It was made available on our website. There are plaques on the buildings uptown that have a call-in number. It was very expensive just to offer. It was $1,500 a year. We each shared that cost. It mentioned businesses that are no longer there, unfortunately. And it's an old approach. It was dial-up, and they do those through websites now. And it wasn't getting a lot of use. So we already had problems with it, and then we learned in September that it was probably going to go away completely. We didn't even know where it was hosted. We knew that this software got it from somewhere. We had to figure out where it was. It was at Cornell. It was on software that was going to be discontinued by Cornell within 2 months. And we had to kind of come to an agreement among ourselves, and we all agreed that the HPC would take this task over, retrieving this, rebuilding it, putting it in a new format. Scott Cannon is the person we hired to do that. He was able to get all that material from Cornell. I'm not sure how he did it because he didn't think he was going to. None of the people who built the software for Cornell were still there. So nobody could provide us with any information. So we now have a new website. Scott has created a new website for us. There are also maps and photos on that website, so it's something an audio tour by phone couldn't do. The reference to the businesses that were earlier there is gone, so that's not there anymore. And the context is now in text and audio, so he transcribed the audio files and put them there in text, so somebody who could see but not hear could read that. Somebody who could hear but not see could listen. And so it's accessible to folks. It's not completely finished, so he wants to put some finishing touches on, like some additional photographs just some nice touches, but I've seen it and it looks really good. The CDG is really excited about doing this, and they're going to do some publicity for us. So we don't want to get into the position where 40 people use it. The other thing is we pay this one-time cost, and then there's no additional cost for it. So the one-time cost will be about what we were paying every year. And now we have it, we can maintain it. Scott knows how it works, and it's a commonly used software, not like the one that it was on before, that only a few people knew how to use. So we're really excited about that. Yeah.
So with the website, is that a standalone historical preservation website, or is it attached to the City of Mount Vernon or the CDG?
No, it'll be attached to the Historic Preservation website. So it's its own website.
Got it.
And then we will have it linked to our website from there. So,
Thank you.
So yeah, it should be really great. And it's a good promotional thing for Cornell, for the city. So we're excited about that. We also got a collection of a major part of Bob Campana's art collection, photograph collection, that he donated to the city. Those will be in the archive. Mary is cataloging them. They'll be scanned. We usually have them scanned by an archival firm in Cedar Rapids. So he couldn't find a home for it. The Historical Society in Iowa City is closing. There's just not a place for it. So we've also had a preliminary discussion about nominating the old high school to the National Register of Historic Places. It's now a 501c3, and so they would like to have this listed on the National Register. It would open them to certain grants. So if it's on the register, you can get up to $50,000 from the state. If it's not, you can't. Those ones are off limits. So that would be a long-term benefit to preserving that building. They have a lot of costs coming up in terms of heating and cooling especially. And I think historic preservationists like to see repurposed buildings. So they like to see something that's productively used, and that certainly has been for all the years it's been open. It's been such an asset to Mount Vernon. So we're really happy to help out with that. We'll be putting part of our budget for next year into that. We've already pledged that we may pay the historic preservation person who does it. We can't do things like that ourselves. They're so technical, and you have to know how to deal with the state. And so Jennifer Price, she's kind of excited about doing this for us, so she will probably do that nomination for us. So the rest is in there. We've continued our regular activities.
The board is fully staffed, and the Elliots have an established board.
They do.
That is set.
The last time I talked to them, it had not met yet, but they do have a board.
Good, good.
Yeah. So this is exciting for us.
Busy year. Thank you.
Keep that
Thanks
good
for
ear.
listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much for that report. Next item, going into section L, is discussion items, council pay and other budget discussions.
I know you guys run because
This is all for profit.
you were excited about the So we monitor, obviously we have city manager, Gary Klein, city clerks have ClerkNet, so it's a communication tool that we utilize. And we monitor the communication daily just to see if there's anything of interest being discussed. And Lori put all of this together, which I'm very appreciative of, but as you can see, you're grossly underpaid.
You should put Mount Vernon in here as a comparison.
As an example.
Well, it says it up top
At
what
the
you
top,
get
yeah,
per
so,
meeting,
Oh, he does.
but
you know,
I didn't know I got that much.
I was a little embarrassed.
it doesn't actually, even if you were to approve it now, it wouldn't take effect until, I think, the following election.
November,
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
But as you can see, yeah,
It's kind of insulting.
it is. At $15, the closest, I think, is $40 a meeting.
You guys need a raise.
Yeah,
So we wanted to bring that to your attention just to let you kind of contemplate that. As far as some of the other budget conversations go, I did meet with Park and Rec board through invite with Matt and the mayor and Lori both did. I will tell you that the capital projects, and I've said this kind of from the start, those pots of money, local sales tax mainly, will have projects tied to them in this budget year. So there will be a number of probably parks-related improvements that are going to get done this year as opposed to last year, which was street heavy. We're still very much eyeing 10th Street. The estimated price tag on that is about $1.2 million. And it just kind of depends on how Rachel Street ends up from a construction. So I can't guarantee you that that project, even though it would be listed within this budget, would even get underway until spring of 27. Just depends on how hungry the bidding atmosphere is. There have been a few, more than a few, of our subsidiaries, so Southeast Lynn, Library, that have asked for increases. There's a solid chance that I won't be able to honor any of them. We are already starting this budget in the hole because of how House File 718 changed the property tax law. So just to cover payroll, or the increases in salaries and benefits, I'm already moving salaries into enterprise funds. They've been there for quite some time. The percentages change, but as the general fund shrinks, I have to figure out more ways to spend less money there, and police department and fire department come with the least amount of options. So there are not another funding mechanism for those. Parks is a little creative because we have the LBC and we have local sales tax back built in to offset any of those costs, and then there's obviously revenue through the pool and things like that. Not that it comes close to covering the expense, but they have some other options. If you remember from last fiscal year, we indicated that we would be increasing. This will be the second of a 2-year, 12% each year increase to sewer rates. Otherwise, as long as there aren't any other additional surprises from the state, this is kind of where we're currently sitting. So in some ways, we're going to look very busy. In other ways, we might not. One other item that I would point out that we are currently looking at is when the council approved the resolution establishing the approved uses for franchise fees, council member Marty Christensen at the time had indicated that he did not want the police department listed. So the state gives you, I believe, 5 or 6 qualified expenses that can be used, franchise fees can be used for. PD was one of them. The reasoning behind that, I think, is because we did not have the new facility, and I think the thought was, or the fear was, that we would utilize all of the franchise fees on an annual basis to build a new police station. Much like the local option sales tax for streets and sidewalks that have been leveraged until 2029 for the roundabouts and 3rd and 5th. So the whole thought there was to the prospect of borrowing against the annual dollar amounts. The reason I'm asking that is we currently pay for our vehicles through the general fund. We pay for other capital items through the general fund. In an effort to save money in the general fund, I would like to move those out. If we put that PD back in the revenue purpose statement, that resolution, that gives us some options to use franchise fees moving forward to help purchase equipment. So it'll just be another option that we have available. I will tell you that I'm getting close to the end of my creativity. At some point, if the state continues to push the property tax legislation that they are, services are going to have to be reviewed. That's not intended to scare anybody, that's just the facts of what is out there. And the governor had even stated that on her tour of discussion of property tax, that cities are going to have to get used to doing things differently. By that meaning, we're going to have to do more with less. So there are some niceties, that we currently do that the council is going to have to potentially consider in the future. We spend an awful lot of money landscaping and beautifying certain parks. Comes with a cost. We have organizations that we support currently that aren't legally required to be supported. So these are all things that you will not likely have to consider this year, with the exception of the franchise fee change. But moving forward, like I said, if something doesn't change, we will. That's not good news for the day.
We knew it was coming.
Yes, I mean, realistically, it's been, my potential is to make the least amount of drastic changes as possible until absolutely staring them in the face. And when inflation is north of 8-9%, and your general fund is actually losing percentage points, and the math is pretty easy.
And the scary part is we are one of the cities in the best position to be
Yeah, we have new growth.
these sorts of realities. So
Yes.
I know we got elected by these residents and citizens, but I shudder to think what the reality is for the majority of communities in this state because of what the legislature is doing.
Because the effects are just now starting to be felt. I think that's the issue, is it was kind of, they were going to ease you into these changes, which they kind of did, but now you're starting to see an effect. Yes, the property taxes is legislated down in some cases, but in those cases, they're not able to fund things that they had once done. So, again, I don't think, my hope is, to be quite honest with the council, is after this year, after this last property tax change, we will be able to return to a more 3, 4, or 5-year plan for you to consider. The issue is placing anything more than a year out in front of you right at the moment is disingenuous to the public. If they happen to read potential projects that could be listed, it's a huge disappointment when it doesn't happen. So, I mean, on a bright note, we still have development going. We are still going to do a number of projects. There are a number of things that are going to happen outside of local option sales tax. Highway 1 is going to be under construction here in another 1.5 years. So there's going to be plenty of action community-wide that people are going to notice. It will just be more of a challenge on the internal side of things.
I want to email a list of mayors, and there are a ton of new mayors elected last November, and they're asking the question of how much should I be paid? The mayor's having the same discussion. And in the last month, I think another town dissolved, or turned itself over to the county. I'm not sure what process you have, but there's a lot of small towns, and that's Scott's point, we're growing slowly in population, we're growing very well in valuation. It could be worse, but at least getting the topic out there, and I'm looking to, from the sun here, that the wages are being considered for council members here, and appropriately so. And I don't know if we know historically how long it's been at this rate. Paul remembers, or?
Well, this was the rate when I first started on council in the year 2000, so.
25 years, you think we're ready for a raise?
For
Yeah,
this whole millennia.
Yes.
put it that way. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Little historical context.
If we hang on a couple more years, the Chicago Bears move to Beddoor.
Tom's still counting on the casino money.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to ride your bicycle anywhere, because speed limit's over 35, you can't ride your bike
Yeah,
on.
that's, is that still active, that bill? Yeah, they'd have to close our trails, yeah. Thanks for the presentation and the comparisons, and I'm sure it'll be something we can talk about in the community over the next month or so, and see where we go from there, and get it out there, that it's being considered, and thanks for the historical context of all of the last time that went up.
Yeah, and I keep coming back.
Good luck for it, Paul. Anything else in the topic area of council pay and other budget discussions, Chris? Okay. Moving to the reports, beginning with the January reconciliation report. Questions of staff on that? Thanks for continuing.
I have a question about the wrestling program. Is that in addition to the program that was always running sort of through the school?
It is separate.
It's,
We started it probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
that's
Yeah, we
pretty
do.
good numbers. when
We
you
do the
consider-
smallest age group, and then they graduate on and go to the school program.
Okay, good, thank you for that. I was not aware of that, that's excellent.
Anything else from that report? Otherwise, from the mayor's report, I would mention a couple things. Through an association involved with the Lynn Clean Energy District, there are energy audits available, residential energy audits, for air quality monitoring. There's some trained people in Lynn County that can do that for your home. It is, it's a bit of a process. I don't know if there's a cost or how much the cost is, but I want to make sure that people know that it's available regarding the air quality monitoring. Legislatively, a couple of things. The first cut of the bill that came out that was going to allow two-year colleges, community colleges, to offer four-year programs got my attention big time. But since the original cut, and when I originally wrote the letter to the editor of the Sun, that's changed dramatically with like three components. One of them was that it's these community colleges can only offer majors in like three subject areas. So it's not going to be a full one-on-one versus regional schools. It has to be, there's like a 50-mile limit from distance from the
university.
From a 4 years college.
Okay, thank you. And there's a third thing that I'm not sure I remember. But it basically made it a non-issue to the 11, 12 towns in Iowa where the college is a major employer, a long time, 150-year plus, partner in the community. So that made me feel better after. And I also talked to legislators 2 Thursdays ago, and they said, that's got no legs. Don't worry about it. The second thing was, but while we're talking about colleges, is again some discussion and not making fun of it, but sweeping endowments, taxing endowments. Looking at U of I and Grinnell on the private side with huge endowments, that the legislature was going to take a cut of those endowment funds.
It was only endowments over $1 billion, is that it?
And there were some stipulations, I know. But again, it's attacking the local control for one thing, but those donations were made to colleges not to be taxed by the state, for God's sakes. I've not asked Chris about this, but we use a service, speaking of sweeping, where we have monies in iPay, is that correct? Do we use, do we use it much? It's available statewide to have, on the school side, it's called IceJet. I think it's iPay in colleges, where if we're waiting to pay on the Rachel Street addition, so the money is sitting somewhere, instead of having it at the bank at one level of interest, we can have it on a more Midwest basis, where we're getting higher rate of interest. Take some money out of the local community, you're right, and we want to be good partners with the local banks, but we get, fiscally, we do better by pooling it in a bigger pool. But there was a stipulation that was being considered that they had to keep at least 25% in the local bank instead of putting it into a group savings account, if you will. But I think that is off the table as well. But again, take something away from local control. It's money sweep, money grab, whatever you want to call it, on things that I never would have expected to be issues here. So that's my mayor's report, mostly legislatively. Anything with regard to council reports?
When we met with Cornell in the community school district last week, and some of these issues that Tom's talking about came up, I had to smile when one of the people there said, well, the regions, four-year institutions, they could start offering associate degrees pretty quickly too. Start backpedaling real fast, but I was thinking, even I say, hey, if you want to start offering baccalaureate, we'll start offering associate.
Good point. And I don't think there was any funding offered to the community colleges if they're going to go from a 2-year to a 4-year.
Which they would need because they're more expensive to run.
Absolutely.
For
So
accreditation purposes.
We're familiar with that, you know, you need to do this, but we will not write you a check down.
You want a funded mandate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point there. Any other council?
I attended my first CDG meeting as the liaison. They've got a number of exciting things going. They've put together, they document structure for their various committees and duties so that transition will be easier in the future. It's a very good eager group that's working together on various items. And looking forward to this year's programs.
The board members did a video on top 3 things they want to do on a Saturday morning Mount Vernon. So I think it was pretty cool. Good. Any other city administrator report?
Busy week. I will not likely be at your next council meeting. So you will probably get a much quicker meeting.
Yeah.
And I will hear about it when I get back.
Might be you and me running.
Yeah, that's
Sweet.
I know.
Where are you going, Tom?
traveling that morning. Think about how airline flights go. I'm scheduled to be back in time, but
That
I'm
was
over at Test for
Scott, I say we make history. 7 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
30 seconds per agenda.
Talk about that PCCOG meeting.
So it's just,
ceremony?
NCOG is the responsible party for the CDBG generator grant. So they had scheduled a site visit with the thought that they were going to have the generator already up. The generator's there and a number of items are already completed. It's just a matter of the transition. So we kept the site visit for that date. So it's just a compliance review.
What date is that?
February 27th. No, and it, like I said, it'll be more of a walkthrough for them just to punch those items in, so.
Thanks, Paul, for getting involved with the CDG. Just got historic preservation squared away a couple months ago, now you got moving on to the next one here, so. Thank you.
Just can't stay away.
Anything else that needs to come before this council at this time? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
You know, you can bring back like minutes.
Yeah.